Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. Sorry about the mini hiatus. Personal stuff got in the way, and in addition to that, I got hit with a huge bout of depression. And that's what caused me to go radio silent for the last couple weeks. I've been meaning to send out a half-baked message to let everyone know what's up, but depression is one hell of a roadblock, let me tell you. Everything's mostly resolved. Still got a ways to go, but we'll see. But on a brighter note, check out my janky-ass green screen. Hopefully this will improve as time goes on, so please forgive how low budget is right now. And I have been keeping up with movies, so let's talk about them. For this one, I kind of just want to put a video out there and get back into a groove, so haven't done one of these in a while. A rapid fire, so let's get to it. Luca Pigoro, voiced by Jacob Tremblay, is a sea monster living his life like a good kid for his parents, who have always taught him that the humans on the surface are dangerous killers. However, his curiosity gets the better of him, and he ventures to the surface and meets fellow sea monster Alberto Scorfano, voiced by Jack Dylan Grazer, who is a bit more experienced on land and helps Luca get accustomed. When Luca's parents discover his newfound fondness of the surface world, they try to send him away. However, he runs away back to the surface and the two boys hatch an idea. The nearby town of Porto Rosso is holding a race that will net enough money to buy a cheap Vespa, and the boys decide to win it and travel the world. However, the local bully Ercole Visconti, voiced by Savarino Raimundo, is the reigning champion of the race and gives the boys a hard time for being outsiders, but are assisted by local girl Giulia Marcovaldo, voiced by Emma Berman, who intends to enter the race herself. The three decide to team up to win the race together, while the boys must constantly hide their true identity. It's Little Mermaid. Not even kidding. All it is Little Mermaid. Sea creature curious about humans, finds them and their stuff not too bad. The parents say they are that bad, overreact when they find the protagonist's secret stash, meets a non-human who thinks he knows all about humans but really knows jack, a secret identity from a human who teaches the protagonist all about surface life, and I could keep going. The similarities are staggering. Still, with all that said, it's a cute enough flick. Little Mermaid, as retold by Pixar, is still a serviceable outing, though not nearly as epic in its animation. Though make no mistake, the Italian setting is gorgeous. It's a safe Pixar flick in the same vein as Good Dinosaur or Cars, though I would argue this is the best of their worst. The characters are bland but passable. Some subplots feel unnecessary, though I have to credit this movie with getting me hooked on saying Santa Mozzarella. Automatic bonus point for that. Kids will find it amusing, adults maybe not so much. Safe, but harmless. My honest rating for LUCA, a strong 3 out of 5.
But if we win this race, well, we can be free.
My life's great. I'm just helping him out.
Teenage friends Jesse, Calvin, and Nikki, played respectively by Kelvin Harrison Jr., Jacob Lattimore, and Charlie Plummer, are troublemakers bonded by their respective troubles at home. Jesse is a mute who has a complicated relationship with his father, played by John Corbett. Calvin is smart but unstable and doesn't listen to his mother, and Nikki lives with his hard-working single mother, Joyce, played by... However, their lives take a turn when the truth about Jesse's relationship is brought to the boys' attention and revenge is on their minds. It has and a 1.1 on IMDb, which is the only reason I bothered to watch this at all. Sadly, I was hoping for a glorious train wreck and was met with boredom. At least for the most part. John Corbett is revealed to not be Jesse's father, but his kidnapper, and has been sexually abusing him for God knows how long. The fact that Corbett is playing a character like that feels sickeningly hilarious. As for everything else, it's disgustingly misguided. The three primary boys are supposed to be rebellious in a rough neighborhood, but actually come across as jerks that you don't sympathize with. Characters are introduced but have no meaningful impact on the story, unfocused, questionable portrayals of mental illness, and a random random performance by Terrence Howard playing a homeless man that I'm pretty sure has time travel abilities. No, I'm not kidding about that. It feels like an edgy teenager tried to write this thinking that he was saying something smart, but is actually nonsense. Definitely one of the worst films of the year. My honest rating for Gully, a 1 out of 5.
Look at me! Look at me! Look at me! Baby! What did you do?
Set between Halloween and Christmas, a mysterious killer has murdered a member of the infamous Falcone crime family who was planning to talk to the new and effective defense attorney Harvey Dent, voiced by Josh Duhamel, about the many criminal acts of his family. Despite this setback, Batman and Captain Jim Gordon, respectively voiced by Jensen Ackles and Billy Burke, believe that teaming up the three of them will yield success. But as the three men get deeper into the mystery, the more people are murdered on the following holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas. And the list of suspects gets even more wild, including, but not limited to, Joker, voiced by Troy Baker. Warner Brothers may be making me mad about their casting choices for a certain upcoming Aquaman sequel, but Warner Animation Group has never let me down, and in fact, in my opinion, has made one of their best films in years. The graphic novel that served as one of the inspirations behind Dark Knight is truly captivating, seeing just what Christopher Nolan lifted and tweaked for the purposes of what he created. Provided this movie is a one-to-one accurate recreation of the comic, which I doubt. The major selling point here is this is closer to a noir detective film, which really hasn't been done cinematically before. Touched upon, but not the sole focus, and it's really gripping to watch. It's shot so beautifully with its dark colors and really makes for an intense and brooding atmosphere. The characters are great, the plot is compelling, even though I already know how part 2 is going to play out, but I'm here for it. Probably one of the best Batman movies since The Dark Knight. Don't miss out. My honest rating for Batman The Long Halloween Part 1, a strong 4 out of 5.
And just when you thought you'd cleaned it all up. Oh, what a joke.
Set immediately after the events of the first movie, the remains of the Abbott family venture from their ruined home into the outside world to find survivors and their new weapon to take on the aliens. It doesn't take long for them to use it after attracting one, but Marcus, reprised by Noah Jupe, gets badly hurt. The Abbott family is saved by an old friend of theirs named Emmett, played by Cillian Murphy, but wants nothing to do with them, demanding they leave soon. But when they learn of a song on repeat on the radio, Reagan, reprised by Millicent Simmons, deduces that it's a code to reach an island that's safe from the aliens. To make matters better, she can use the island's radio tower to weaponize her hearing aid on a larger scale. Knowing her mom, Evelyn, reprised by Emily Blunt, won't go for it, she journeys on her own with only the reluctant Emmett as her companion. Just like the first one, I want to like it, but it suffers from the same problems as the previous movie that prevent me from liking it as much as I want. We follow dumb characters. Why would Reagan believe her mom wouldn't go for her plan? What was the ultimate plan when they left home? It's not like there were options. To make matters worse, Reagan is dumb for going out on her own because she's deaf. She won't know what kind of noises she inadvertently makes, which does happen and nearly gets her killed, so big shock there. The movie also tries to set up how people have become horrible, but we only get one scene of that and barely anything happens, among many other problems. I love the idea of leaving home, but much of that is spent in the same locations we've already seen, and all new characters turn out to be morons. Except for Murphy as Emmett, he was really good. Again, a wonderful premise done an injustice due to subpar writing. Not my cup of tea. My honest rating for A Quiet Place Part 2, a 3 out of 5. Dan Forrester, played by Chris Pratt, is a former military man now trying to live a peaceful life with his wife Emmy, played by Betty Gilpin, and their young daughter Muri, played by Ryan Kiera Armstrong. However, the world comes to a stop when a wormhole opens up and out walks people from the future, 30 years from now, and alludes to a war against aliens called White Spikes that the human race is badly losing against. In order to help with the war effort, people are drafted to go to the future and help. Dan is drafted, leaves his family to fight, and discovers that Colonel Muri Forrester, played by Yvonne Strahovski, is ready to launch a strike against the female White Spike and has a plan that might end the war. I had fun with this one, but my recommendation is not to go into this expecting anything smart. The story is messy as all hell at the beginning. Really, the world leaders band together when time travelers tell them aliens are coming to kill them all without any fuss, even going so far as to issue a worldwide draft. Not even a whole lot of information is given from the future people to help the present day folks with surviving in the future. I was half expecting a big twist that the war was a lie, but no, it's aliens. Kind of disappointing. Beyond that, so much information is dumped on the audience that you'd think would be important, but ultimately isn't. Characters and character choices can be annoying, and even Pratt feels miscast when he acts like a goof. Hell, most of the comedy doesn't fit either. I give credit though, the action is fun, Strahovski is always a wonderful talent to have, and damn, this PG-13 movie gets away with a lot of gruesome violence. Won't be for everyone, but it's adequate to waste some time. My honest rating for The Tomorrow War, a strong 3 out of 5.
I didn't in any way bring you here because I wanted to spend time with my father. I brought you here for a reason.
The Templeton brothers Tim, voiced by James Marsden, and Ted, reprised by Alec Baldwin, have grown up but have also grown apart. Tim has a family of his own, and his eldest daughter Tabitha, voiced by Ariana Greenblatt, is stressing about her studies at school, and Tim fears she's growing up too fast. However, it's revealed that Tim's infant daughter Tina, voiced by Amy Sedaris, is a boss baby from Baby Corps, and believes that the headmaster of Tabitha's school, Armstrong, voiced by Jeff Goldblum, is up to something nefarious. Managing to get Tim and Ted together and turning them both into children, the three of them infiltrate the school to figure out what Armstrong is doing. It's not the garbage fire that I was expecting, at least not completely, but I'd be lying if I said that there weren't a few moments that got me roaring with laughter. Emphasis on a few moments. For most of the flick, it's an unfunny bore fest to sit through. I shouldn't have been surprised considering I didn't care much for the first one. We rehashed the previous plot of Tim and Ted trying to get along, just this time instead of being naturally children, they're turned back into children. There's highly uncomfortable humor that I really don't think should be in this kids movie, and some unnaturally disturbing characters too. Not to mention, I was under the impression that the first movie's depiction of the talking baby was supposed to be a metaphor. Poorly implemented, but it wasn't meant to be real. This story undoes that and makes it real. Only one or two jokes made me laugh, but only in the final act, and all of them from Jeff Goldblum, who was just great. Couldn't tell if he was trying to be bad or not. Not a great movie. Kids may like it, but adults, get out and save yourselves. My honest rating for The Boss Baby Family Business, a weak 3 out of 5.
We were just kids. We didn't know anything about the real world, and eventually, you have to grow up.
Just because you grow up, it doesn't mean you have to grow apart.
Katie Mitchell, voiced by Abby Jacobson, is a creatively driven young woman about to head off to film school, despite the reluctance of her traditional father Rick, voiced by Danny McBride, resulting in the two having a fight. In a desperate attempt to rekindle their broken relationship, Rick decides to force Katie into accepting a road trip to take her to school with the rest of the family. Katie's mom Linda, voiced by Maya Rudolph, and younger brother Aaron, voiced by director Michael Rianda. However, the trip hits the motherload of speed bumps when a new robot is unveiled at a tech conference but is hacked by the original AI app known as PAL, voiced by Olivia Colman, and forces the robots to enslave all of humanity. With only the Mitchells left, they debate on their next course of action. The filthy stench of Boss Baby 2 is finally off of me. This is a fantastic flick that had me howling with laughter and feeling all the feels. This entire movie felt like it was an apology for that dreadful Emoji Movie, which was just a 90+ minute commercial. While Sony products are on full display here, it doesn't forget to have a soul. It has a perfectly balanced and reasonable means to both celebrate and criticize technology, and do it in a really funny and yet meaningful way. I love all of the characters, the humor had me in stitches, and that pug led to the best jokes in the entire flick. The closest thing to a problem that I had was how some of the jokes could get overused, or some characters weren't consistently funny, but because everything else around those problems is so good, it truly doesn't matter. I almost missed out on this one, so don't be like me. Give this a chance. It's a great animated movie for everyone of all ages, and it's my personal pick for the best animated movie of the year so far. From Netflix, no less. Who knew? My honest rating for The Mitchells vs. the Machines, a 5 out of 5.
That's not a feral hug. It's Spongy.
What? Is that a dog or... Dog, pig, dog, pig, dog, pig, pig, dog. Loaf of bread, system error.
After a diamond mine collapses, the mining company puts out a call for truck drivers to brave a treacherous trek across frozen roads with supplies to help free the miners. Mike, played by Liam Neeson, is an experienced driver alongside his brother Gertie, played by Marcus Thomas, a Gulf War veteran stricken with aphasia, and will be aided by the young woman Tantu, played by Amber Midthunder, their direct employer Goldenrod, played by Lawrence Fishburne, and the company's insurance risk agent Varney, played by Benjamin Walker. Despite an easygoing start, trouble finally hits when the dangerous roads kill one of the drivers, and in their midst is a traitor who wants the mission to fail. I'm usually all for a dumb Liam Neeson action romp, but as far as dumb action romps are concerned, this is jarringly disappointing. I'm with the flick for the first third, where it seems to be more like Neeson's only adversary is the elements. Big old truck on frozen water, it was a pretty neat and suspenseful setup. I'd even go so far as to say it was refreshing to not have the Irish badass shooting people for once. But, as if on cue, we get a bad guy who has to spoil the fun! Not that the rest of the movie is unwatchable or anything. In fact, I think one of the highlights is the relationship between Mike and Gertie, though whether or not his aphasia is an accurate portrayal of the condition is not for me to judge, though is probably a reason why the movie has not been getting critical praise. The writing can be a little SJW at times, though not too bad. I think the human-on-human drama comes out of left field and doesn't always work for me. Disappointing, but hardly the worst that's ever been made. An adequate way to kill off a couple hours. My honest rating for The Ice Road, a 3 out of 5.
How's that Kenworth, boys?
She's a fine ride, Jim. Thinking we might get one just like it.
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Hope to see you soon. One final caveat as you guys move on with your day, I've decided to test my luck at a Patreon, so please consider supporting the channel. No obligations, of course, no content is gated off, but any and all contributions would mean a lot. Link in the description. Have a great one, folks.